We're about to head off to Keckover again, and this will be the first time of actual real test of the engine since we removed the turbo. We did run the engine for half an hour after we did the repair and it all seemed normal, but we've got a 4-hour run ahead of us, so it'll be a proper test. Behind me is the haul of goodies I picked up in Marmaris yesterday, so I'm just going to run you through what I got and what I intend to do with it. We'll start off with the boring bits. One of the things we had to pick up was the 15W40 engine oil. When we were in Keckover and we had the engine problem, the only one we could get was the 20W50 engine oil. And while that's okay, this is the specified oil for our particular engine, so we picked up 4 litres of that. And the things that go with engine oil are oil filters. We picked up 2 of these simply because I like to have spares on board. Not really boat related, but this is a black cartridge for our printer that we have on board. A printer on board is essential for printing out documents that may be related to check-in, check-out agents. This is something I've been wanting to add to my toolkit for quite some time. We do a lot of boat yoga when we're working on various bits of the boat, and that of course means that many of the things we're trying to look at are hidden out of sight or around a corner. So there's a large mirror and a small mirror here, and they'll bend around corners. And also this is a telescopic arm with a magnetic tip, so if you drop a nut or a bolt or a washer into the bilge and it's just slightly out of reach, this is the bad boy you're going to turn to. And talking about dropping things into the bilge, when Iden and I were working on the engine the other day, he had a torch very similar to this, and I was quite impressed with how it attaches to parts of the engine. There's magnets here, and there's a magnet here, and basically if you've got a couple of big bolts on the engine block, you just magnetize it, switch it on, and point the light where you need it. This is a number 5 hex key or Allen key, and the reason why I purchased another one of these, I do have a number 5 key, but it's a very small one. It's only sort of like that big, and when I'm trying to change the hex nuts and bolts on the anodes underwater, it's very small and difficult to maneuver. I'm in fear of dropping it, and this I can grip quite nicely and get that job done underwater, changing the anodes. And the great thing is as well, it's got a little hole here so that I can put a lanyard through it as well, so if I do lose my grip, it'll just hang off my wrist. This is 4 meters of floating line. We're going to attach this to the front end of the dinghy because as we learned the other day while we were in Keckover, Kevin ran over his non-floating line and got it wrapped around his prop, and I had to do a little bit of scuba diving to free it up, so that will get attached quite easily to the front of the dinghy. I also purchased 2 brand new winch handle holders, mainly because the 2 that we've got, they're starting to crack around the screw holes and they just look scruffy and horrible, and I like these because they're nice, soft, pliable plastic, and they come supplied with their own mounting screws. These are Harken winch handle service kits. The bit that goes wrong on the winch handle is this little plastic pin here. That bit eventually breaks under the constant twisting of this mechanism, and it happened on both of our winches exactly in the same place, so that is the weak link in this Harken winch handle, and so you buy this kit. It is the BK4517 kit, service kit, and it comes with all the bits and pieces you need to service the whole winch handle. I also bought a waterproof USB double socket for here in the cockpit area. 5 volt, 2.1 amps, and that will allow us to charge phones and tablets. This is a Harken cheek block. I can't remember when it was, but it was a long time ago, somewhere on our second trip across the Aegean Sea on a Greek island, and I noticed that the plastic of the cheek block had been sun damaged and it had broken and exposed the bearings inside. So that's going to be a nice replacement. It's exactly the same one that we took off, so it will just slip into place nicely. And to make sure, we got this Sikaflex 295 UV, and that will
put here and here to make sure that we've got a watertight seal. And these little things are LED lights, and these are the final pieces we need to replace the incandescent bulbs that are still in place in various bits and pieces of the boat. These LEDs are sitting on this mouse pad, and I got this one with the gel pad built in because where I sit at the saloon table, it's got a ridge like this, and my wrist sits on the ridge and it gets a bit sore, so I can put that over the ridge and be cushioned. Now, the most expensive items that we bought were these two Sirocco fans. These fans are probably the best on the market for use in a boat. They can pivot in so many directions. So for example, this can do a complete tilt in that direction. This bit here can tilt in that direction, and this can tilt in that direction. So wherever you want the air to blow, you're pretty much going to be set with one of these fans. It also has 3 speeds, so slow, medium and fast. At slow, you can definitely leave it on at night and it won't be keeping you awake. I've had to listen to it, it's very quiet. And during the day, even on the faster speed, the airflow is great and the noise is not at all disturbing. The other thing about it, it has a timer on it as well. And when you press the timer, these LEDs here light up, so you can have it on for 3 hours, 6 hours, 9 hours or 12 hours. And then it will switch itself off.
So it looks like I've got my work cut out for me for the next couple of days. Today is Thursday. We have Michelle arriving on Saturday evening, and then Sunday we're heading off to Keckover, weather permitting. We are watching a weather system at the moment. We'll see how that pans out. It may delay us for a day, but either way we're going sailing. I better get to work, eh? We're about to head off to Keckover again, and this will be the first time of actual real test of the engine since we removed the turbo. We did run the engine for half an hour after we did the repair and it all seemed normal, but we've got a 4-hour run ahead of us, so it'll be a proper test. We've also got a guest on board. Michelle is here and we'll introduce you to him a little bit later on once we're underway.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it?
I certainly am. There's a slight breeze just picking up now, so I think hopefully we'll be able to sail.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah, alright. Let's fire her up and see what happens.
Okay, see you in Keckover.
We are just over halfway to Keckover and have been monitoring the engine, and I've got to say, very pleased. The engine temperature is up slightly to just around about 80 degrees, and I think that's because we've actually now completely enclosed the engine compartment, so it's obviously a little bit warmer in there. There's a little tweak I'm going to do to the extractor fan, and I'll talk more about that when I do that job. The exhaust is looking great. There's no smoke coming out. Maybe a little tingy-wingy bit of white smoke, but that's to be expected. So very pleased with all of that. We're getting 6.7 knots at 2,050 revs, and the engine is sounding perfect. So I think we've had a win. That's great. Now the other thing I've done here in the cockpit is I've installed a USB charger for phones and tablets and things like that, and I can't believe nobody's actually used it yet.
Oh, Baz, my phone is down to 92%. I need to charge it urgently.
I think you should.
Okay.
Why don't you use this handy USB charger right here
That's
at
new.
in the cockpit?
Oh, it's so exciting. You stick it in. Oh, and it's working.
Ta-da!
Thank you, Baz. You've saved my life.
We're just approaching the entrance to the inside of Kekover, and just ahead of us is a little tiny sailboat and quite a big deck saloon sailboat with a nice head sail. In this light wind, it really wouldn't be any good for us to put even our head sail out in this. We're actually getting about 8 knots of wind at the moment, and that's certainly not enough for us. Anyway, we'll be inside Kekover in probably about 10 minutes. Here we are back in one of the bays at Kekover, and I did say yesterday that we had a guest on board. So I'm going to introduce you to our guest. Well, actually, our guest's going to introduce himself.
Hi, my name is Michel. I come originally from Belgium, but I live in Germany. I'm an airline pilot, flying for a famous cargo airline. And I had the chance to meet Barry and Ansha a year ago when I was in Cache. And in fact, I was following them on YouTube because I had the intention of going sailing, something that I wanted to do for years, but I always postponed it. One day I was in Cache in Turkey and I had the chance to meet them. We had 2 nice, wonderful evenings together, and I said, oh, it would be nice if I could come back on board with them. Barry and Ansha, they offered this Patreon invitation scheme, so I decided to list for it, and here I am.
We were discussing last night about doing some anchoring practice. Are you still wanting to do that today?
Definitely. I really want to learn as much as I can, because my intention is to be able to charter a boat after this and to later most probably have my own boat. And so the more I can pick up, the more I can learn.
Okay.
Because going to school you learn a lot, but still a lot to be learned on the
practical side.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, after we've had our breakfast, which is smelling great,
Oh yes.
coming from down below, we'll up the anchor here, we'll go around into the next bay, and then we will do some anchoring practice.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Okay.
Very good.
That looks like the breakfast of champions.
Yes, don't tell my wife.
It was a very fun week having Michelle on board, but there's more to come next week as we do a little bit of anchor dropping and anchor raising practice, and we explore a bit more of the area around Kekover Roads in Turkey. So join us then if you can, and if you'd like a reminder of when our next video comes out, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon, and you'll get a notification in your email box. Until then, take care and have a great week wherever you are and whatever you're doing.